Good morning. Welcome. Welcome to Wednesday's Hatha Flow. I had to change the days a little bit here, and I'm so grateful that you're all flexible. I know what you're going to say. I don't feel flexible on my mat, but we're kind of going to be addressing that today. We're going to all be starting seated today. So have some props nearby, whatever it is you usually use or like to use or would like to try to use. In place of blocks, you can always have books or cans, toilet paper rolls. In place of straps, you can have belts or ties or tea towels. In place of a cushion, you can have folded blankets, folded towels, couch cushions, anything that might be able to pad either your seat or your knee when we're in low lunges. And yeah, I will meet you on the mat seated. So take a tall seat. Find somewhere comfortable where your pelvis feels neutral. So if you imagine your pelvis as a bowl, that means it's not tipping backwards and spilling water out the back. If you can imagine that, you can even come into that position. Feel how that rounds the lower spine. It further rounds the upper spine, closing off. And then we're bracing ourselves to balance a little bit. Now that bowl, some of us also have a tendency to over tilt this way. And so just try that out as well and see what that feels like. I feel compression in my lumbar spine because there's a hyper lordosis. So that's that C curve there. There's that hyperlordosis in order to tilt me this way. And then I'm losing my ribs out the front. So you'll hear me say this a lot in class, but not to let the ribs spill out here. We want everything to be in line, and the spine is doing its natural S curve without hypercurving any part of that spine. And then you can connect to that string that's at the top of the head that draws you up to the sky. And you can just be. So I often imagine that if the spine is this long, tall column on the inside, everything else can then reset and hang off of that inner column naturally. Our muscles are connective tissue. That is what keeps everything integrated and drawing into the midline. And if everything's in line, then they can start to release. Fingers crossed. So when you've found that tall spine, you can close your eyes. Place your hands wherever they feel comfortable, wherever you feel called to place them for now. Drop into your room. Drop onto your mat. Drop into the body. Be present with breath. We tune into that sensing body. The one that can hear, smell, taste, touch, see. The one that doesn't have judgments about any of these things. The one that doesn't have stories, criticisms. The one that's not analyzing it. the one that's receiving. Sensing. As always, at this point of the practice, we remind ourselves to keep coming back to the sensations. Becoming more in tune here will help us to distinguish without judgment what feels right, what feels good in the body, and what doesn't create more in the body. And so as we flow through the practice, you can start to have that discussion. Is this a challenge that creates more? Is this a challenge that's painful, that compresses, that cuts off? And then you go back a step, you take a break, or you go further. Next, my theme of the week is patience. I've really been connecting to what patience feels like in the body. And a great way to do this is to connect to what do you see impatience doing in the body? So we won't stay here for long, but maybe bring to mind a situation or a thing that makes you feel impatient. Notice where you feel that. Notice the things that happen in your body as soon as you bring to mind this impatience. The closing off, the contracting, the change of heart rate, the restriction in breathing. Notice how this is something that cuts off our connection, not only to the world around us, but really to ourselves as well, to opportunity. Now let's switch over and see the word patience, feel the word patience, sense it. Do your collarbones widen? Does your breath slow down and deepen? Does it create space? Does it have a temperature, a taste, a touch, a feel, a color? Can you sense the little hints of compassion in that word? Those parts that help you let go. I actually see myself like leaning back, but maybe in a raft, a floaty down the river. with time, space, flow. Today, I encourage you to invoke this through your practice with those hints of compassion, especially when we start to get impatient with ourselves, our bodies, instead of battling upriver, struggling, getting upset with what we can or can't do. We'll just let be. Sure, we're not all going to be patient at all times, but we practice coming back, coming back, coming back. Take a big deep breath, exhale completely. 2 more like that. 1 more. We're going to take the knees in the hands. And as we inhale, we'll draw the heart forward. And as we exhale, we lean back. We'll feel that pelvis doing that tipping. Tipping forward, tipping backwards. But just get into the spine, find movement here. Coordinate with the breath to make it smoother. One more time. Beautiful. Come back up to seated. Interlace the fingers in front of the heart. Exhale, press those hands in front of you. And again, feel that posterior tilt of the pelvis. As we inhale, we're going to come up to neutral while we reach the arms up. Exhale, curl. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. One more time. Beautiful. Bring the hands behind the back of the head now. First, bring those elbows out in front of you. Let the shoulders drop down. Just feel that, the sigh. Shoulder blades on the back. Now, as if they're going to lift your heart up to the sky, start to tip those elbows up. Hug the shoulder blades on the back. Press the back of the head into the hands. Feel that nice stretch through the triceps. Breathe into the rib cage. Open that heart. Beautiful. Come back to neutral. This time, open those elbows up. And we're going to exhale, twist to the right. Getting a little bit of movement here. I find in these core twists and then to the left. Every exhale, we twist. I find that in these core twists, I start to get impatient with myself because I think I can go deeper and something just stops me. Or one side is different from the other. Let's just go with the flow. Maybe you start to quicken it a little bit. 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Release the hands down. Let's walk the right fingertips to the right. Reach up and over with the left. Get some side stretching. We're slowly opening up each part of the body with patience. Come all the way back and then over to the left. Reach over with the right. And then back to center again. We'll move anything we were seated on out of the way as we roll over onto hands and knees. Come to cats and cows. So as you inhale, we tilt that pelvis forward. As we exhale, we feel that posterior tilt. So keep going, opening the front body, opening the back body. Collarbones widen. Sacrum presses up to the sky. Lower back presses up to the sky. Keep going. If you need to add more movement, go for it. One more time. Nice. Come back to neutral. So remember, even in this other position, neutral, the pelvis feels like if it were upright, it would neither tip forward or back. And every part of the core is hugging into the center line. Beautiful. So we're going to just get that core warmed up here by reaching forward first with our right arm. And we're going to be patient. We're going to hold here for a moment. Now the bicep doesn't have to frame the ear just yet. Just enough to activate that back body and then find center. Notice how you want to lean to the left. Press into every single finger of the left hand, every single knuckle, and try to find center. Then reach back with that left leg. Maybe the toes are on the ground. So 5 times in each direction, we're going to exhale, draw the knee and the elbow towards each other and reach out on the inhale. And then draw the knee and elbow to the side and back. Just getting into 2 different planes of motion here. We've got 3 more in each direction. Get into the back, get into the core, get into the side body, get into that shoulder. And 3, 2, 1 more, and then hold it out there. Reach with the hand, reach with the leg, press the hand up to the sky, press the heel up to the sky, and then notice if you're dumping out through the ribs, draw them in, activate that lower abdomen for 3, 2, 1, release, other side. So again, we start with the hand, we start with the arm, we find center. This might be enough work. Maybe we stretch the right leg out behind us, toes on the earth. Maybe toes off the earth. Beautiful. Now let's go to our flow. We exhale, draw knee to elbow. Inhale, reach. Then out to the side. And reach. And in. The extension being just as important as that contraction, getting that back body awake and alive, the side body, the front body, and everything in between. We got 3, and 2, and 1. Hold it up there. Press the hand up to the sky, press the heel up to the sky, draw in those ribs. And then release the hand, release the knee. Beautiful work. Plant down through every single finger, every single knuckle, curl the toes under, draw those knees 2 to 3 inches up off the floor, and then puff that lower back up to the sky. Draw the belly button to spine. Press the floor away with the toes, press the floor away with the fingers. And then soften the head, soften the heart, and strengthen that core for 3, 2, 1. Come back to down dog. You might have to readjust the feet, readjust the hands, plant down through every finger. We're going to shift forward 3 more times, coming here, and then down dog, and here, and down dog, and 1 more, and downward facing dog. Come up onto the toes, bend the knees nice and deep, and really reach those hips back behind you. Plant down through every single fingertip, every single knuckle. especially the L that forms by your index finger and thumb on each hand. Notice how those two want to kind of come off the floor. Keep them pressing down and away. See how that can activate the arms and even allow you to get deeper into that heart center. And then extend the legs and slowly start to walk the hands towards the feet. A little different today. Bend the knees as much as you need to. Let the head and the neck relax. And then let's come all the way up to standing, reaching tall. Exhale, fold forward. We're going to do some walkouts here. Walk the hands out into a plank pose. And we hold our first plank. So the first plank is always a tricky one. Remember, it can be on the knees or the elbows, or just like this on hands and feet. And we're going to do a bit of a body scan here. Make sure the head and neck are in line with the spine. The face is soft, the eyes are soft. The throat is released. The hands are pressing into the floor, especially the L of the index and thumb. The arms are strong, but the back of the heart is soft. The ribs are drawing down towards the pelvis. The lower abdomen is drawing in. The thighs are hugging to bone. The buttocks is fairly released. We don't need to be over squishing here. The heels are pressing back, activating the entire lower leg. And every toe is trying to spread on the floor. All right, press back to down dog. Nice work. And walk those hands towards the feet. Fold. Maybe the knees are bent again. Maybe you're starting to straighten them a little bit more as we warm up. And inhale, come all the way up. Reach high. And exhale, fold again. Beautiful. We're going to walk forward. Second set of plank. Patience. So we hold here. And we soften the parts that don't need to be working. We press the floor away, hug into the center line, and then find flow for 4, for 3, for 2, for 1. Back to downward facing dog, and then walk those hands back towards the feet. Fold here, and inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands to the heart. Come to Tadasana, mountain pose, and make your way to the front of your mat. Set the feet parallel. All 4 corners of the feet are grounded into the earth. And now we're going to inhale, arms up, and exhale, fold. Look up halfway and lengthen, hands to shins or thighs, and fold again. Let's do that 2 more times. Work your way into the spine, the hips, the hamstrings. Next time, fingertips come to the ground, right leg steps back, and we bring that right arm out to the right. Plant the hand down, draw the shoulder on the back, lean and twist with the left hand on the sacrum. Strengthen that back leg, or you can bring that back knee to the earth, whatever your body's ready for. Hold here, or 3 big circles with that left arm in each direction. So explore the range of motion here. Keep that right shoulder on the back. Keep the head and neck neutral. If they feel awkward, look down, reset, and come back. And then come back to center. We're going to draw that right knee down. If you need anything underneath it, go for it. And then bring ourselves up into a low lunge. Draw the legs towards each other, hug them in, and then bring that whole pelvic bowl forward. Inhale and exhale. Just working our way into our hips. If you want to add the arms, you can come to cactus arms, press up, and then draw those elbows down, shoulder blades on the back. Each time, letting the exhale be that letting go, that inhale, that strengthening. One more time. And then you can hold here. You can start to tip the heart up to the sky, but keep both sides of the waist long. Keep that left hip coming back and that right hip coming forward. And then hands come to the earth. We're actually going to step back to hands and knees here and take that right knee up off the ground. You can come down on elbows if it feels better for your back. I often like to do that. And we're going to do 4 big circles in each direction with that right knee. Now watch that left hip. I just looked back at mine. It's starting to come towards the left. I'm going to bring it back to center. Keep it nice and stable. And keep going. Other direction. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Release that right knee. Keep the elbows on the ground and come into a forearm plank. Your knees might be on the ground still, but everything's drawing into the midline, or you can tuck the toes under and bring those knees off the ground. We're going to twist a little bit here. So dropping the knees to the right and to the left. And just use this as an exploration of your twist. It is still a core exercise too. Drawing a rainbow up through the center. We've got 4 more, 3 more, 2 more, and 1 more. Come back to center, set the elbows and drop those hips down. Flip the feet over. You might need to walk the elbows a little further forward for our first Sphinx pose here. Arms are parallel, hips are on the earth. Let everything sink down. And with our breath, we're going to pulse. We're going to inhale, draw the heart forward and up. Exhale, look down towards the belly button and relax. Inhale and exhale. Almost as if you're trying to drag your legs forward on the mat, using the strength of your arms against your mat. Last time, let's hold it up there. Roll the shoulders on the back. Imagine roots from your feet up through the legs, up through the pelvis, and the flowers blossoming out the front of your heart. And then release all the way down. Beautiful recovery pose, down dog, puppy, or child's. Beautiful work. Now that right foot is going to step between the hands. 1 step, 2 steps, or many. Back knee can come on the ground or not. We walk the left hand to the left, right hand on the pelvis. We lean into that left hand, bring the shoulders on the back and twist. We stay there or do 3 big circles with that right arm. 1. Strengthen that back leg if it is up. 2. 3, another direction. Beautiful. Come back to center, drop the back knee down to the earth or maybe onto something padded. Hands on the hips, come up into the low lunge. Inhale, draw those legs towards each other. You can feel them like scissors drawing together. And then keeping that integrity, we lunge forward with that front knee. The whole pelvis comes forward. Draw them together strongly. Maybe we add the arms, pressing up and coming down. For 3, 2 more. And last one. This time, hold it here. Make sure the front toes are spread. Make sure you feel grounded from the hips down. And then perhaps the heart lifts. Both sides of the waist are long. That right hip is coming back. That left hip rolling forward. And then hands come to the earth. Pick up that back knee. And we're going to step it forward. 1, 2, or many steps. And release into a forward fold. First chair pose, Utkatasana. Bend the knees nice and deep. Bring the hands to the heart. Now, arms come out front as if you're accepting a gift. And now draw that gift in towards your heart without bending your elbows. So by drawing the shoulders back, integrated. Beautiful. Keep that gift as close as you can to your heart without bending the elbows. Get a little deeper for 4. Notice how that widens your collarbones, opens the heart. 2, a little deeper. The shoulders are still back. 1, deeper yet. And then come all the way up, stretch and release down. Look up, halfway lengthen. And let's step the left leg back this time. This time we're going to keep that back knee off the ground unless it's really calling to you to bring it down. Draw that right hip back, strengthen that back leg, bend through the right knee, and then slowly start to tip up. Beautiful. Now we can feel that left hip flexor getting a good stretch here. And with hands on the hips, hands at the heart, or maybe even hands up with a long neck, we're going to bend that back knee for 4, 3, just working our way into the hips, all of 360 degrees. 1 more. Beautiful. Now press that back heel back, bend that front knee, look up. Maybe you even take that left wrist with the right hand and lean to the right for 3, 2, 1. Beautiful. Hands come down to the earth and then come back again to hands and knees. You could come on elbows again. We got to get into that left hip now. Left leg comes up and we do 4 circles in each direction. Keep that right hip in. Got 1, 2, 3. Make them big. 4, other direction. 4, whoa, that was too big. 3, 2, and 1. And release that knee down. We're coming into forearm plank again. Walk the knees back. Drop the hips. Draw those ribs in. Activate the lower abdomen. Choose knees on or knees off the ground. So this time, we're going to alternate legs, picking one up, pulsing it up to the side and back. I know. Let's do. Beautiful. So we go right, out, back, down, left, out, back, down. 4, 3, 2. Last one. Beautiful. Now flip the feet over if you can. Keep those hips off the floor. Place the hands on the floor and then lower the hips down into that Sphinx pose. Look down at the belly button. Let everything fall. If the elbows feel too close in towards you, like your heart is closing off or you're compressing any part of your back, walk them away a little and then reconnect that feeling of drawing the heart forward and up, forward and up. Imagine emerging from the earth like a little earthworm, pulling your body up and out, getting some sun for 3. Maybe you press into the hands for seal pose, as long as that doesn't close off your heart or compress the spine. 2 and 1. Release all the way down. Recovery pose. Down dog, child's, or something in between like puppy. So now the right foot will step between the hands. I'm going to keep my left leg off the floor this time. Pull back through my right hip. Oh, sorry, I meant left. Left leg forward between the hands. I'll give you a moment to switch. Pull that left hip back. Strengthen up the right leg. Bend through the left knee. And then float up. And again, either hands on the hips, hands at the heart, or hands reaching up to the sky. We bend for 4. Press it back. 3. Strengthen. 2. Keep that left hip back. And 1. Strengthen that back leg. Maybe we hold here. Maybe you take the right wrist with the left hand and arc over to the left for 3, 2, 1. And release the hands down. Step forward to a forward fold. And release. Beautiful. Bend the knees nice and deep. Second set of chair. Arms out front. Draw that gift into towards the heart. Sit into the heels. Now this time, maybe we start to reach that gift overhead. Slowly, patiently, watching that moment where everything starts to disintegrate and coming back a step. We want to keep the collarbones wide, the heart open, the core nice and active. For 3, 2, 1. Inhale all the way up. Exhale, hands at the sides, and pause. Tadasana. Let's take a big step out with that right leg. Spin the right heel down so the right foot's slightly pigeon-toed, and then that left foot is pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Ground into that back leg and bend into that left knee. We're going to bring the hands to the hips and start to stick the bottom out behind us. Feel the grounding in both feet. We start to bring the hands down towards the earth on the inside edge of that left foot. And then start to walk the hands out towards the outside upper right corner of the mat. Release the head and neck. Supported humble warrior. Now you get the stretch. Melt into that front knee a little more. Press into all 4 corners of both feet. And now walk the hands back in towards that left foot. You can either keep the left arm there as you open the body up to the side, or bring the left elbow onto the left thigh, but keep that left knee pressing towards the left. And then that left buttock is coming underneath to open this pelvis towards the side for side angle pose. Both sides of the waist are long, and maybe the top arm reaches up, maybe over the head. Beautiful. Now we're going to keep that left knee bent, keep that buttock scooping under as we come up into warrior two. Nice and slow, nice and patient. Gaze over the left fingertips. Now we're going to keep that left knee bent and reach back into exalted warrior. Beautiful. And then back to center. Straighten both legs. Flip the feet around so that the right toes are pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Left toes are slightly pigeon-toed. Hands on the hips, bend that right knee. Find the knee right over the ankle, not beyond, and plant down into the outer knife edge of the back foot. Start to lean diagonally forward, sticking your buttocks out behind you. And then bring the fingertips to the earth and start to walk them away. Release the head and the neck. Supported humble warrior. Find some more bend in that front knee and pause. And now we're going to strongly start to scoop that hip under you as you open up to the side, walking the right hand right beside that right foot or elbow to the thigh. Back leg is strong and straight. Body is opening up towards the side. Left hand is at the hip, reaching up or reaching over the ear. That right knee bends a little deeper. The hips come down, but that right hip, that right buttock keeps coming underneath the torso, and that right knee keeps pressing to the right. Beautiful. Now all the way up into warrior two, nice and slow, same legs. Gaze over the front hand. Feel that grounding through the feet. Feel that shaking in the body. And now keep that front knee bent, keep the legs exactly as is. Reach up and over with the right arm. Exalted warrior, you've got this. And then back to center, straighten both legs. Set the feet to parallel, hands on the hips, get nice and tall. Exhale, hinge forward, fingertips on the earth. Maybe you shift a little more weight into the fronts of the feet. Maybe you start to bend the elbows behind you. Maybe you can bring the full palm to the floor. Maybe they even walk back towards the same line as your feet as you release the top of the head to the earth. And then slowly walk the hands back under the shoulders, come onto the fingertips, strengthen the legs, strengthen the back, hands to the hips, come all the way up. You can reintroduce the feet to each other and stand here in Tadasana for a moment. Mountain pose. All right, we have strengthened the legs a lot. We're going to come into some balancing. Shifting onto the left leg, come onto the right toes. This may be lots of work, and that's great. You really have to activate that left leg, the left rooting mechanism in the foot, ground down through especially that big toe mound, all four corners. Feel the arch picking up off the floor. Feel that left glute strengthen and activate. This may be good. Maybe you bring that right foot all the way up, bent at the right knee. You might hug that leg in with the arms. You may even be able to take the toe. You may even be able to stretch it out in front of you. So whichever one you're taking, that left hip stays hugging in towards the center line and the body feels tall. You feel that string, you feel that pelvis neutral. You feel both corners of the hips in the same plane, pointing in the same direction. Now take that right knee in the right arm. We're going to take it off center, out to the right, maybe reaching the left arm to the left. Keep everything drawing in. Feel that left glute. Now come back to center. Come back to that same plane. Left hand on the right knee. Maybe we twist backward, back to the right. I have the wall behind me and I'm really lucky. But we twist, maybe we look, maybe we reach the right arm out behind us. And then back to center. Hold it here or reach that leg out for 3, 2, 1, and release all the way down. Beautiful work. Shake it up. All right. Now, when we're in balancing poses, I find for myself, that's when impatience comes too. Impatience either with the teacher, when is this going to end? Impatience with myself, why can't my body do this? Let's let that go. All these unmet expectations that close us off to our true superpowers. We work with our body. Shift onto the right foot, take the left heel up off the floor. Feel that right leg hug in. Feel like a straw sipping from the earth. The foot activates. The whole leg feels alive, awake, and strong. You feel the torso lift. You feel tall. Left leg comes up off the ground. Make sure that left hip isn't coming higher than the right. Make sure it's back in line with the right. Maybe you take the knee, the toe, or the foot. And you feel the work that right leg has to do. Beautiful. Now, once you're here, take it into the left hand. Left knee opens out to the left. Maybe the right arm comes out to the right. Notice how that right hip wants to give up and just sink and flop out to the right and behind you. Keep that glute working. You can do it. And then back to center, nice and slow. Take the left knee in the right hand. Start to twist to the left. Keep that bottom leg working. Even keep that top foot, that left foot flexed. You might reach out behind you with the left arm. You might look to the left or maybe even over the left shoulder. And then back to center. Maybe stay here, reach the leg out perhaps for 3, 2, 1. Release. Beautiful work, Tadasana. Come to the front of the mat. Reach up. Exhale, fold forward. Look up halfway, lengthen. Exhale, hands to the earth. Step back, optional flow here, coming down, or you can meet us in a down dog. Up through your heart opener. Back into down dog. And then everybody drop the knees, knees apart, toes together. Child's pose. Make sure the forehead has something to rest on, whether it's the floor, your hands, maybe even your fists. The hips are sinking back. The abdomen is melting between the thighs. The back of the heart is softening down. And then we press relax ourselves up to seated. So we're going to come with our legs out in front. We'll come into an easy forward fold here. If you need to, take the fingertips behind you to find that neutral pelvis again, because especially with our legs out in front, we tend to slouch back. Let's press that heart open, widen the collarbones, find that neutral pelvis and the tall spine that emerges. And then maybe that heart starts to tip forward. Maybe we can take hold of something along the way. A belt, a strap, a tea towel could help. And then as we fold, hinging right at the hips. Of course, we're going to get some back rounding here. That's okay, just as long as you're trying to keep most of the fold right at the hips there. Keep melting the thighs into the earth. And come all the way up. And then bend the knees, bring the hands behind you, and like a little counter pose here, draw the shoulders on the back, press into the feet, press into the hands. Inhale, lift those hips up into a reverse tabletop here. Feel the stretch of the chest, feel the activation of the back body for 4, 3, 2, 1. Beautiful, drop the hips down. We're going to slowly make our way to our backs, one vertebra at a time. Beautiful. So we're going to do another forward fold here, but actually on our back. So how do we do this? Bring the legs up to the sky to about a 90-degree angle so that they're perpendicular to the floor. And then you can hold on to the backs of the thighs here. Feel the sacrum on the earth. We have a very natural, gentle curve through the lumbar spine. That's okay. So this is like us seated with a neutral pelvis. Maybe you start to take this into a forward fold by walking your hands up your legs. But continue to draw those sit bones away from you and down towards the floor. So yeah, I've curled up a little bit here. Now my lumbar spine is pressed into the earth. So there is a little bit of flexion going on in my spine. It's okay. I'm still working to press my sit bones down towards the earth so that I'm getting a good hamstring stretch here too. Now I'm going to bend my knees, bring them out to the sides, and come into a happy baby, either taking hold of the shins, the outer edges of the feet or the toes, and drawing the knees down. I continue to mindfully draw the sacrum down and the sit bones away from my head towards, I have a window on my right side here, sorry, left side, my left, your right. Now I'm going to keep my right leg, my right foot in my right hand and stretch the left leg out along the mat. Half happy baby. Really softening through that left hip, all 360 degrees of the joint. This way I can really feel that grounding of my sacrum so I can really isolate the muscles around the hip joint. And then bring that left leg back and stretch the right leg out. That left knee coming down towards the earth, my foot pointing up to the sky. And I let all the muscles around the hip joints soften. And then back to center. Hug the knees in towards each other. Rock a little side to side. And then come to a final twist. Arms to the side, knees tip to the right. Look over the left. And then back the other direction. Knees tip over to the left. Look over to the right. And then back up to center. And start to find your way into final relaxation pose, whatever feels most natural to you. Perhaps Shavasana with the hands pointing up, receiving. Perhaps on your side, perhaps with legs at the wall, perhaps even in a meditative position. And once you arrive, we receive the benefits of our practice. We breathe into the space that's been created. We receive the benefits of patience, the space that that creates. Please feel free to stay here as long as you can. Always, always thank yourself for carving out time on your mat, for practicing compassion, letting go, strength, patience with yourself so that it may leak out to others as you walk off the mat. I thank you for sharing practice with me, being part of my community. The light in me always sees the light in you.